Now, the escalation between the two nations continue, and amidst all of this, there was speculation that Israel may even attack Iran's nuke sites as well. India Today's Shiv Arur explains what will be the impact of the attack if Israel tries to do so.
Remember that one of the big questions that a lot of people have been asking when they talk about the certainty of an Israeli response against Iran for that missile strike is what could Israel possibly target in Iran? And in that discussion, one of the things that keeps coming up are Iran's nuclear facilities. Their nuclear facilities where they enrich uranium and create weapons-grade uranium for a possible nuclear weapon at some point of time could be on target. But the question is, can Israel credibly target Iran's nuclear facilities? Let's do a reality check on that. First of all, point number one to consider, Iran's nuclear sites, at least the ones that Israel would probably want to target, are at least 2,000 kilometers, about 1,000 miles away from Israel's air bases, which means that Israeli fighter aircraft and bomber aircraft would definitely need some kind of aerial refueling in order to just get to those areas to conduct that kind of airstrike, which means that Israeli aircraft would need to overfly many hostile countries, possibly Saudi Arabia, Syria, Lebanon, and others, in order to even reach a country like Iran. So that's sovereign airspace. That's, of course, a completely different complication. Let's assume that the aircraft from Israel have been able to cross those obstacles. They still have to enter Iranian airspace, and Iran has its own air defense shield. They've got ground weapons, they've got surface-to-air missiles, they've got air defense weaponry on the ground. So no Israeli fighter or bomber would be able to enter Iran uncontested, unmolested, and therefore even reaching any of those nuclear sites would be very difficult. Remember that in order to offset the possible damage to at least some of these aircraft from that hostility that Iran would show, Israel would theoretically need to send a large number of aircraft. A Financial Times report says even 100 aircraft would probably need to be sent. Now, Iran's Natanz nuclear site, the biggest nuclear enrichment facility of Iran and part of its nuclear program, is actually situated hundreds of meters below the ground. It's a subterranean facility and it's not on the surface of the earth, so it's deep underground. And Iran's Fordow facility actually happens to be in a dig out in a mountain, so it's basically inside a mountain, so hugely protected by many tens of hundreds of meters of earth. Now, Israel does not have the kind of bomb, perhaps the only kind of bomb that can penetrate, tens of meters of earth in order to destroy something that's buried deep beneath, like a nuclear facility. Israel doesn't have the only weapon that is theoretically capable of doing that. It's called the GBU-57A/B, the MOP, the Massive Ordnance Penetrator. Israel doesn't have that weapon, and even if it had that weapon, it doesn't have aircraft that can carry that weapon and deliver it in a credible way. So, all in all, just to summarize, Israel could probably, in a very perfect scenario, if they're able to cross all the obstacles and negate all of the different hurdles that I've highlighted here, they would probably be able to damage some of the structures at these nuclear facilities, but they wouldn't be able to destroy them, not even come close to it. So this is very important to note.